Tell me how I had a few days after that Lotus to work on my Supra, and then my garage door breaks. Not only did my garage door break, but all of the cars were stuck in here, but I fixed it. Might break apart and hurt somebody one day, but guess what? It's fixed. Garage door works. I'm gonna show you what I did, and then we'll move some cars around and talk about what we're gonna do to this Supra. All right, let's hike up here. So I had the door about halfway open, and I was like pulling the door down, and then all of a sudden something popped in here, shook the entire building, and the door came crashing down. Not only did it come crashing down, it came down so hard that I couldn't pick it up anymore. I couldn't pick the door up. So first thing I thought was maybe a spring broke. Second thing I thought is, what if that comes crashing down on a car, or even worse, like me or a kid? So I think from here on out, I'm actually going to take these clamps and I'm going to clamp them on the doors like a safety every time I have the doors open. Anyways, back to what happened. So I'm thinking, damn, a spring broke. How am I going to do this? Thinking about if these are under warranty, which come to find out they are. And wow, these things, this is held on by a self-tapper, and there's 5 of them, and there's one that's poking out over there. So I'm gonna fix that while I'm at it. So anyways, I'm thinking about like warranty and everything like that, and I actually called the garage door company, and they never came out. They literally never came out for 2 days. I've been texting this guy back and forth, and he had really good reviews too. So I said, screw it, and fixed it myself. What happened is that spring in here, you can see how it's binding up. It's actually rubbing against this, which is the axle. And this right here, this first collar, you can see is actually the original axle. It goes all the way across. I installed a pipe there, and I'll explain why. So it rubbed a little groove in the axle on the inside, and eventually the axle just twisted apart because the axle is actually holding the spring. So all this tension is on this axle. It broke apart, and then the spring came loose, and so on. So what I did was I actually took this pipe here, cleaned up inside because, you know, when it was torn apart, had jagged metal. Shoved this pipe through there, drilled a hole through it, put a bolt in it just like I put this one, just hold it, and now it looks good. Now I do have this ugly looking hole right here. Let's take care of that real quick. There you go. That looks a lot better. It's pretty crazy. I had no clue what I was doing, and screw that garage door guy that was going to charge me $100 an hour. Bam, we're done. That might be really, really dangerous, but my door opens pretty good. All right, I'm Matt Pratt. Today we're going to work on the Supra. Let's get to work. Alright, gotta move some cars around. I got the shop somewhat cleaned up. I kind of shot this on my last video at the very end. You guys are probably wondering, what the heck? This is a Sunburst 964, I think. If you guys know anything about Sunburst, it actually, see, it says it right there. It's actually the company or auto shop that worked on Porsches before RWB. In fact, if you know Naki-san, he's well known for cutting these cars up and putting his Rough World body kits on there. He actually started at Sunburst, according to the internet. And that's why the kits kind of look similar, because he kind of took the style and made it even more aggressive. So it's a really cool car. This thing is naturally aspirated, and the motor is built, and it is wicked. Like the carburetor that they have on there, God, the throttle response is insane. My Civic has individual throttle bodies, but it's fuel injected. The throttle response on this is way more noticeable than on my Civic, and I thought my Civic was pretty impressive before. So really cool. I think these are SSR wheels. It's actually here because we want to change some stuff on it. Oh, that's pretty neat. We actually are thinking about painting the wheels. I'm going to touch up the body a little bit, And I mean, it's nice weather now, so this thing needs to be one and done and not spend so much time here. There's just like a lot of little stuff, like gotta reattach that, line up this door, might be the other door we gotta line up, and we're just trying to freshen it up and give it a new set of wheels. The car did come from Miami, but I think before Miami it came from Japan. And believe it or not, if you try to Google like Sunburst Porsches, only like 3 or 4 show up, and this is one of them. So they are just now trying to make a name in the USA. Their Instagram doesn't have that many followers at the moment, so really cool car. He had these Sparkos installed. It came with a set of bride seats that are way too snug. As you can see, if you look there, the tachometer, speedometer, they're all clocked, so that the needles will stay like that. That's just so they're easier to look at while you're hauling ass the entire time. So, all right, let me start this thing up, let it warm up, and pull it out so I can bring the Supra. Throttle response, man. Not like no turbo car. So the owner of this car, Sunburst, actually owns the Porsche too. That's Jason Miller. Like I said, he has a couple Porsches, and this is going to sit in his garage and be kind of like the Volkswagen trendy style. That's kind of like the road race style. And then he has another one like this that is all-wheel drive turbo, and that's like a really fast one. So it's kind of cool. He's got like a whole bunch of different styles. All right, let's bring the Supra down and talk about what we're gonna do today. Oh man, what are we gonna work on today? This thing has been literally up in the air for the past 2 weeks while working on other stuff. I haven't looked at her in a while. Man, she looks good. What can we work on next? I think we need to tackle this interior. If you've seen in my last videos, you know I have some seats that will replace these ugly blue things. We can get those installed. You can see my entire interior is just trashed. It's about time I put all this together. This is terrible. Before we get to any of that, I think it's really important to address this issue. The door doesn't open. The handle isn't attached right now, but I actually tore apart everything on the inside here, and we can't get the latch open. I remember that when I was lining up this door, the latch kept grabbing the striker, and I thought that the door was dropping, and I snugged up the door, but everything on the door was snugged fine. I realized that the latch was actually falling apart, and then the next time I shut that door was the last time that door was ever open. So that is probably what we need to fix first. It's pretty crucial. I had a friend of mine, Jake, who's actually my boss at work, over here, and that guy can fix anything. and he was laid down across the seats for 2 hours tearing that thing apart. And if he can't get it open, there's no way that I would be able to get it open. So the only option I have left is to somehow get in here with tools and grind the hell out of that thing and see if I can just take it apart even more. Thinking about it, we should probably tackle that now. That could be a long process. Alright, so pretty much like the latch does not work. There's a locking mechanism under here that doesn't work. You can't even get to the back of the striker here. Yeah, there's no way. Might be able to pull some of this stuff out, but so it looks like I'm gonna get the belt grinder in here, and I'm actually going to grind some of the pins away of the latch mechanism, and that will let all the levers fall off, and then maybe I can get to actually what is holding that thing on. And I hope it isn't something stupid, because this was a lot of trouble for all this. So all right, let me get some air tools in here. Oh. It's about damn time. This piece was like locked. Just like that. Wouldn't come undone. I butchered this thing to pieces, and I honestly don't know what the heck happened, what went wrong with it. Alright, I think I know what happened. So I'm trying to get this somewhat clear. This lens doesn't focus, so just bear with me. But we know what this looks like if you know about cars, and you can see that when the door shuts, this thing closes, and bam, this thing is heavy duty and it's supposed to keep the door shut. Even when the car is flipping around doing cartwheels because you wrecked it, this will hold the door shut. So it's built not to come apart. Alright, so when I first started putting this together and lining the doors up, you can see that this is like metal right here, but there's a coating on it. There's like a plastic coating on there. I'm trying to see if I can get you close up to see that, but you can see it poking out. There's a little bit of this plastic coating left. It's deteriorating on this outside here. Well, on the inside, as you can see, it's even worse. Alright? So what happened is this thing went into the lock, the semi-lock position, the first lock position, that kind of leaves the door open. And then this plastic that is coming off the coating got caught because it's rubber raw, and it couldn't reopen. So what happened was I was cutting with a sawzall down the center, and it just had enough pressure to pop it open, enough for the door to open. Oh well, it's done. I'm going to inspect the next latch and hope that it's good to go. Alright, time to remove the roof, and let's get these damn seats out. So we got the roof off, and before we tackle seats, man, we just have to tackle the interior, period. I keep forgetting where I left off in this car, and I don't have anything. Like the quarter panels, all that is just chilling. Like, oh, let's get all that cleaned up first. Alright, I got this interior somewhat in. It looks pretty good. It is definitely not the cleanest interior out there. I tried to just clean it up, dust free, and wipe it down, and it looks pretty good. It definitely needs some TLC, maybe some like actual interior coatings or something. I don't know, whatever those interior guys do. I usually gut all my cars. But yeah, I got that stupid ugly blue stripe. The seats aren't bolted in. I think I have another set of rear seats coming. I do have front seats in my other garage. I'm about to go grab one of those now so we can figure out how we're gonna bolt them up, because the seats that are in my garage are in mint condition. They look great, but they're out of a right-hand drive car. So I don't know, we're about to learn. I guess we'll start with the passenger side first. All right, I absolutely do not know what I'm doing here. First glance, I see we got a bolt here, maybe one there, one there, one there, one there. It looks like there's one hidden in there. So maybe that's how the actual seat covers come off. Not covers, but actual seat cushion. This part, all that looks about the same. And we got a couple bolts there. This looks similar. Okay, maybe I just got to undo all those bolts on each one, pull the tracks off, and install the track on the other. I'm gonna call it. This looks like an easy job, but it's probably not. See what happens. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Just a bunch of bolts. This is a little shiny. I might scuff this up and just shoot some satin black on it. It looked like it was painted before, but who knows. And yeah, so the seats came right off. In fact, the hardest part about them is that the leather was actually stuck to the metal, so it made it seem like it was kind of hard, but it came right off. So. Alright, so let's try to organize all these bolts and start taking this one apart. Wish me luck. Alright, not too bad. Only took 10 minutes. All the mounting points look the same. I'm going to try to clean this rust off. These seats are like black, and they have like this, it's orange, but it almost looks brown. I mean, this is going to look like so much better in here, you know. I don't know, I kind of like the orange. Maybe I could do like some candy orange calipers, if you think about it, like candy orange brake calipers, well, turbo calipers when I put bigger brakes on here, poking through there, and orange stitched seats. Maybe I'll even incorporate some more orange inside of the car, like maybe the steering wheel stitching. I actually got a different steering wheel. A friend of mine, Scotty Mack, hooked me up with that, but I ended up picking up another one that's even got some stitching already on it. I'm kind of like liking the little orange idea. Maybe it's like meant to be, since these seats were pretty much given to me, believe it or not. A lot of these parts I've been getting for the SUPRA, man, I've been either painting for them or they're like given to me, which is awesome. So this guy who hooked me up with these, he's getting pretty much some free paint. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. All right, ran into our first issue, but I think it's okay. Bolt holes are pretty far off, but this is a driver's side seat in Japan. So it's on the right hand side, which would be our passenger side over here. But I think just the way the bracket is, I think all I have to do is take the passenger side and put it on here. And I think it'll fit right, because this is like the same exact thing. And I know this bolt hole, yeah, see, it's really far up compared to this bolt hole on the US passenger side is really far back. So let's go to the garage and then check the actual passenger side left seat and see if it measures up to be the same. So here's the passenger side seat, which looks really good. And I can feel in here, yes, the mounting for it is way farther back. So, yep. So, all that means is that the left side passenger seat will fit on my US right side passenger seat. The actual seats themselves mount completely different. So, all I gotta do is take this one apart and swap the rails. Looks like everything else will work. Let's find out. Alright, it's getting late. It is 12:30 on a school night. I'm gonna take a break for now, and I went ahead and spray painted the trim and my tools just so I can get that satin finish. If you look here, I'm gonna put another coat, but it looks like the seats actually used to be tan and they painted it themselves. Man, it looked like they used like Krylon semi-gloss spray paint. This is satin, it's gonna look more factory. I really wanted to do it after looking at these OEM seats that won't fit, but they look so good, the the factory plastic on there, so hopefully it will match just like that. Alright, I'm going to hit the sack and we will get back on this tomorrow night. Alright, it is the next day. Yeah, I put in as much time as I could. I'll tell you what, man, this interior stuff is freaking time consuming as hell. Well, anyways, where did we leave off? I painted all this stuff. This stuff looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the satin color. It's still got a little bit of a shine to it, but I feel like it's pretty close to factory. I mean, if you think about it, once you wipe some interior cleaner on there, it's gonna shine it up anyway. So this is all painted, I can handle it. So now I'm going to take this passenger seat and strip it all down, and it should fit this one. Alright, there she is. Look, that looks pretty good. I like that. Alright, so since this one is done, we're going to cruise through and knock out the other seat. Good thing is that one of them is already taken apart. So, cool. Let's sit this over on the side and rip out that driver's side seat. And there you go, got the driver's seat done. You can definitely tell this thing was custom upholstered because these are like way too long. They like tied knots in them. If it was like a legit SUPRA seat, they would have, that stuff would have been like cut perfectly to fit. So, but they did a great job. And like I said, man, I'm going to incorporate this orange. I like it. I think it'd be a good accent color for the SUPRA too. Cool. All right, so now we got to put the seats in, but before I do that, I'm going to take this opportunity to, with the seats out, to clean up this disaster. Yeah, it's insanely dirty. I still got to put this stuff up, window visors, just deep clean everything, vacuum it all out, and so on. So that's the next step. Before I put these super clean seats in there, I got to get the interior to match. They're not bolted in yet, but that looks so good. That orange stitch, I'm gonna talk about that the rest of this video. I'm gonna have to figure out how to incorporate that onto like the door panels and stuff. I don't want it too crazy. I like this subtle stuff. And then, I don't know, we gotta think of other ways to put orange in here and not be too tacky. Yep. No, I'm glad I'm in here working on this. All right, we worked all night on this thing. Let's check it out. Bam! Halfway completed interior. First off, don't hate on my cleaning job. I just literally wiped it off with glass cleaner, blew it off, and vacuumed it out. It definitely needs a true, really nice detail. Without being truly detailed, seats look really, really good. I'm really happy with them. So it looks complete, looks together, it feels really good, but it's really far from being completed. Back seats, I still have back seats in the works. Hopefully, end of this week, I will have those in here. The door panel is just sitting on there. You guys know I still have to put the latch in, so it's just got like one screw in it. Speakers, I don't have any speakers in this thing because I want to run factory speaker wire, and they had their own speaker wire in there, so I ripped all that out. Along with speaker wire, I'm going to redo the radio. I don't think I'll need that CD case holder. Steering wheel, got a new steering wheel in the works also. It's one of the 3-spoke ones. I think it might have a little bit of work done to it too. I still got to do something with this battery cable. I just want to make sure, I want to double check with Freed Engineering to make sure that it's a good place. It's a good way to run it the way I ran it. And yeah, my parts aren't sitting around collecting dust. I'm sure it's going to get dusty again. At least I know what I'm missing and what I need. All right, what is left on this thing? I mean, there is a ton left. We still have motor work to do. In fact, a little update on the motor work. Freed Engineering, which is the only shop around that I really trust. They did such a good job with my 240 and my friend's cars. Those guys actually have been sourcing parts for me because we plan on turboing this thing. They found a GTE turbo head and they found cams. They're ordering me an ECU, wiring, and other things too. They're gonna put together their own turbo kit and exhaust for this car, so that's pretty exciting. But in the meantime, we still have plenty of stuff to do. Like, for instance, the next thing I'm gonna tackle is the roof. I really wanna bust the roof out. It's gonna be a whole episode in itself. If you guys remember, this thing is all cracked up carbon fiber. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting on how I fix that. I don't know how I'm gonna fix that, but we're gonna try it. Interior trim. In the rear here, I got some pieces for it. I acquired quarter pieces. I got a rear piece now, so that's stuff to install. And mainly just put the car back together. Like, I need a wiper here. I want to redo the wiper and cowl, hood squirters. I gotta actually put the bumpers on for real. You know, I got the hardware and everything. I just gotta take it all off and put it all back on. And I just gotta, you know, really go over the car and just really put together the little stuff. But I have time, like I said, while we're waiting on motor parts, you know, I can take my time and slowly button this thing up together and make sure it's good to go. So, plenty of episodes to go. Speaking of episodes, I gotta go edit this one. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. You don't wanna miss out on the stuff that I do in this shop at my house. Like, comment, share, get this video out to all your friends. Try to encourage them to do quality builds too, like this at home. I'm hopping off here. Go work on something of your own, and I'll see y'all next episode.